Good morning, guys. And then I have the end. I have, oh yeah. I did get approximately 2 to 3 nights of good solid sleep. And then we just go back to how it is. Last night wasn't awful, but it was a little rough this morning. I've realized, because the fridge that I got is obviously a lot smaller. Well, not a lot smaller, like a couple inches smaller than my previous one. But I realized that because it's this much shorter, I can like access the top a bit better. So I moved the microwave onto the top so that I could have all of that free space on my counter, because I don't have a lot of counter space. And I feel like it looks pretty good. So I'm very happy with that. I need to upload a vlog today. I also potentially need to go and get running shoes. I'm gonna finish this and then I think I'm gonna head out and see if I can find some running shoes for a reasonable price and potentially some face moisturizer as well, because I just ran out. Anyways, happy Tuesday. Hi. I don't even remember what day I started this vlog. I think that it was on Tuesday, because Monday I ended the other vlog. I barely filmed anything yesterday. I did go out and get frames for 2 art prints that I had. And I know some of you probably watched me cutting the edges off of that one art print of like, it's basically like a hand holding a book. Some of you are gonna hate it even more when I tell you that I did pay probably about $80 for that. It's like an original. It's not an original because the original was on canvas, but it is a print that I bought directly from the artist, so it's not cheap. And I was just like cutting the edges off because I needed it to fit in that frame. It was a really nice frame. I went and got the frame for this piece of art that one of my friends did, and then that print that I purchased. Both of those frames I found on Facebook Marketplace for $5. Like, both of them together for $5, $2.50 each. I was not about to go and try and find another frame. So I did that yesterday and I'm feeling good about that. It makes things feel more put together when my artwork is framed, right? Anyone else get that? Anyways, I think I'm gonna go to a cafe because I don't focus well in general, and sometimes it's a little easier for me to focus at a cafe if I like bring my headphones. I won't get distracted by other things quite as much because there's less to get distracted by in a cafe, because I can't like get up and walk around and like clean things and move things around and look at things like I can in my home. And when I'm in a cafe, I don't jump on, like I don't distract myself with social media as much. I still do it, but not as much, because I feel like people are gonna see me on social media, and I know that's not a weird thing. I just feel weird about going like distracting myself with social media in public. That's why sometimes, and I would like to do it more often, but sometimes I do go to cafes to try and like minimize those distractions. So because I've been having such a difficult time focusing, especially lately, I think I'm gonna go to a cafe today. I'm also gonna I went to H&M yesterday, and I need to bring a bag of the things that I bought, because 2 of the things that I bought are too small, so I need to exchange them, which I always think is so wild. Like, I'm not tiny, but I'm also not that large of a person, I feel like. I bought like an extra large sweater, just like a zip up sweater, and it's like barely long enough for my arms. So I don't know if my arms are just freakishly long considering the size of me, but I would think an extra large sweater would fit my arms no matter what. So it doesn't. I'm gonna go get a 2XL, I guess. I also just like don't try things on in the store. Otherwise this could have been avoided, but that's on me. I did make some coffee this morning, but I ran out of caffeinated coffee, so it's just decaf, and I also don't like the decaf that I bought. It doesn't taste very good, so I'm not even gonna finish it. Let's just go get some good coffee. If you live by yourself, you have to tell me if you do this, but I always eat and drink things that I make out of like absolutely massive containers, usually because it's only me, and those are the containers that I like stored my meals and my drinks in. So I'm like, I'm not gonna make another dish dirty, I'm just gonna eat straight out of the container because I live here and it's only me. I don't live here with anyone else. Tell me if any of you do that. I don't know if that's weird. Like, do other people who live by themselves genuinely make a plate of food when it's just them eating? Sometimes I do, but usually I just eat it straight from the container. Also, my makeshift tables are really just my stools because I don't have like a coffee table for here, but I like to watch vlogs and stuff while I eat, so.
For soften lines, you just want to focus on the ends.
Y'all, should I like thin my hair out? It's been a while since I cut it, and it's also summer and I have stupid thick hair, and there's also like barely any layers in it right now, and I have thinning shears. Okay, I did it. I'm still like brushing through to try and get some of the hair out. I tried to do a little fringy thing, not like full on bangs, but just like something to add something fun, you know? The thing about the thinning scissors is that like you cut with it and then you pull down and then you cut again and you pull down, and then you have to like comb through your hair to kind of get all of it out. I will say it feels wonderful. Like it feels so nice and light. I tried to do like some, like I said, some little fringy fringe. I think it turned out okay. And I tried to add some like kind of shorter layers, and I also tried to even out the bottom because I hate blunt cuts. So on some people they look really good, but on me I just find it looks weird, and I think it's because my hair is so thick. So like a blunt cut just looks like, it looks like a broom. Literally looks like the bottom of one of those flat brooms, but on my hair. So I don't like that. So I did thinning right at the bottom, like a whole bunch, so that it wasn't as even. I have a feeling this side's a tiny bit longer, but I feel like that happens every time I cut it and you can't really tell. So yeah, it feels so much lighter. I did some fun little bang things. I'm gonna show you the back and friggin' pray for me that it's even. Tell me if this is even. You guys are seeing it first, so it's gonna be real embarrassing if I look at it and it's not. Is it good? So-so? I like it when it kind of goes like this, like a point down. Here's hoping. Let me show you how much hair I took off. I feel like this might gross some people out. Oh my god, look at it! It's a toupee. Dude, it's so much hair. So anyways, this is like a lot of hair. This is an entire head of hair on someone who doesn't have thick hair. That's how much I took off my head. It feels so great. I regret nothing. All of my haircuts are like spontaneous adventures with myself. So I'm gonna figure out how to dispose of this without scaring anyone. And I'm gonna go shower now. I was just absolutely humbled by a Pilates class. Also, we have like an entire army of zits down here and I don't know why. Please ignore. But the gym that I pay for is like
one of the cheapest gyms you can find in Vancouver. It's like one of the budget gyms, and they do offer classes. I just never go to them. So I decided, a lot of the time I have a hard time getting myself to go to the gym, but if I have a class that I've signed up for, I feel more obligated to go because I feel like I can't miss the class because I signed up and put my name on it. So I was like, I'm gonna go do a Pilates class. Sounds chill. I've heard Pilates is great for like mobility as well as strength. So I was like, oh, that sounds great. So I show up there and I was like, first of all, 75% of the people in there were definitely above 60. The rest of them, minus myself and like one other girl, were probably above 50. So nothing wrong with that, but I was like, oh, like, did I come for the right class? Maybe this is like a super chill Pilates class. Wrong. Absolutely incorrect. It was so hard. I have been humbled, and I'm also, I need to work on my Pilates moves while I'm at home, because next week when I go back, I have to be better. Anyways, I'm gonna go get the rest of my groceries. I just got like produce and stuff from like a farmer's market, and then I need to get some like salmon and some meat and just like good brain food, you know?
It's my writing playlist. Update, it's funny, so like the way that I've explained the story a few times is that there's like hints of Treasure Planet. If anyone knows that Disney movie, it's based on the book Treasure Island, but it's more like steampunk, techie kind of situation in the movie. So I told myself that just because I was having issues with the plot of Between the Waves, I should watch Treasure Planet and see if it kind of like sparks any inspiration. Also, I have worn this shirt multiple days in a row now. It's so comfortable. I have a bad habit of doing that. When I get new clothes, I will just like wear them every single day for a week straight. So I ended up rewatching Treasure Planet, and it actually did spark a bunch of information. I literally like moved a notepad over to the couch with me because I needed to write down ideas. And then afterwards, I also watched another one of my childhood favorites. Not even childhood favorites, they're still my favorite movies. I watched Atlantis, or like I think it's called Atlantis, The Lost Empire. It is also an animated Disney movie, and one that I adore. And as I was watching that one, it kind of just got suggested after I finished Treasure Planet, so I decided to watch it as well because it's been too long. And as I was watching that one, I realized that that vibe kind of also plays into my story. This doesn't surprise me at all. I love stories like that. They're like epic quest stories, or like searching for a secret item or a hidden world or whatever, which is exactly how Between the Waves started. And then it kind of changed, and now it feels like it might be going back that way. So I thought it was really interesting to also watch Atlantis and realize that there's a lot of elements from that kind of just like quest that I want to include in my own story. I will say that since I've been looking so much into plot lately, and just over the past few months, and these are the first like movies that I've watched in a while, I just don't really watch movies anymore, but I did realize that I was sitting there and like plotting out the actual story that was playing in front of me. Like I was watching and I was like, this is the midpoint. This is definitely the Dark Night of the Soul. And like, I think we just ended Act 1. And my brain's thinking like that, which it makes sense, but I just thought that was kind of a funny thing to notice. Also, update on the hair. I am still so happy that I can put it on my head, like in a ponytail or a bun, and I only need one elastic, and it doesn't give me a headache anymore. This is an unexpected bonus that I didn't think that thinning out my hair would make enough of a difference because my hair is so thick, but it is life-changing. Some people are gonna hate me for saying this, including probably my mother, but I am going to thin my hair for the rest of my life. I also forgot to mention, I'm gonna try a strategy that I saw Katie Wismer do. So I'm gonna try like scent association. She always does this with one of her partners, and she kind of has like different scents depending on what she's working on. So then when she's ready to work on a certain project, she'll like spray the scent that has been associated with working on that project, and it'll kind of help her brain get into the mindset and kind of get into that kind of area of focus because it recognizes the scent and that it's like time to work on that project. I'm not going to do it project based. I'm just going to do it in general for writing because I need easy habits to try and apply before making them more complex. But I got this scent, which was one of my absolute favorites, and I actually used to use it quite often when I was creative. I don't know why, I just always reached for that one. So I'm hoping if I specifically use it when I'm writing, it's gonna like help get me into that zone. So it's from Bath & Body Works. It's the Orange and Ginger Hand Lotion. I'm really sad because they don't actually have it in a candle, and that's what I was gonna get. But they do have it in this really nice like dark glass bottle as a hand lotion. So I'm just gonna use this, and I'm gonna see if it helps me get in this. Oh no. This is why we can't have nice things. Oh yeah, did you just hear me crack my knuckle? I think I made good progress on my plot. I have the first 2 acts pretty much figured out. I have like the basic plot points that I want to actually happen already figured out, and then there's obviously going to be extra scenes and stuff that need to happen in between to kind of like connect everything. But I do think that for the most part, a lot of the scenes from the first draft or like versions of those scenes can be used with the new plot structure. So basically I also have where I want the story to end. I just kept telling myself, I was like, write it, plan it, outline it as though it is going to be a really epic standalone fantasy novel about pirates and all the things that you love. And that was how I tried to like get myself through it. So I do think that I actually got through it. I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited about it. Tomorrow I hope to finish a bit more of an outline for Act 3 because currently I kind of have like everything outlined, and then I have general things that I know need to happen in Act 3, and I know how the story needs to end. But I think I need a bit more like fleshing out within that act. I'm feeling really good about that. I'm really excited. I'm gonna work on it tomorrow. I've been writing, which is all I can really ask for at this point. I'm really happy about that. I also painted my nails because I guess I was procrastinating maybe, but they're very like 12-year-old Kayla would have loved these nails. I'm gonna make a late night grilled cheese and then go to bed, maybe even before midnight, so that I can get up tomorrow and have a good productive Sunday. This is a wonderful article or post about avoidance moments in stories, or like parts of the story that you kind of feel like there's an issue there and you're trying to fix it, but in reality it's not necessarily something that like needs to be removed, or it's not something that's wrong. It's more so just something that is like a placeholder. But I don't explain it that well. You should go through and read this entire article because it's wonderful, and he makes so many great comments, and it's also just a really nice thing to read to kind of help with the imposter syndrome. So it just talks a lot about how, you know, your first draft is never perfect. You're gonna have a bunch of placeholders, and sometimes those placeholders that you have aren't necessarily mistakes and places where you're having these massive issues in your story. They're actually placeholders because there is so much potential to happen in that moment, and they're really important moments, and your subconscious knows that. It knows that that moment is important, that moment needs to happen, something big here needs to happen, or something really important needs to happen, and it's just not sure what, because you want to do it justice. And you know, with those moments it might take 10 revisions before you fully uncover what that moment needs to be. So it doesn't mean it's a mistake just because it's falling flat or you have a weird placeholder thing happening. It just means that that moment has so much potential that you have to put more work into it to actually get there. So I loved this article. I will link it down below. I know I forget to add links all the time, but I will link this one. It's now Sunday. I would like to report I have a very loose outline of draft 2. I'll be honest, right now the second half of Act 2 as well as the filler of Act 3, I guess. I don't want to call it filler because it's all important, but those are the parts that I just don't have scenes for or anything. But what's more important is that I do have how I want it to end. I know exactly how I want it to end. I know what plot lines need to be left open. I know what emotional state Amaya is going to be in at the end. I know what physical state she's going to be in. I know where in the realms she is going to end up, and I know what her end is kind of the beginning of something for her, and I know what that is now, and I know what it needs to be. And that is the most valuable thing that was missing from that first draft, was I just had such a weak ending. It didn't feel like it ended where it needed to. And I try not to think back, and like, I don't have any regrets. I love this process anyways, even when it is a freaking pain in my ass. But there are so many parallels to how the original draft was supposed to go, how the original outline was supposed to go. And then when I was writing that, I decided all of a sudden that I wanted to write multiple books in the series. So that's when everything changed. But I think that I needed to kind of go through this process of replotting and re-ideating for multiple books versus one book versus 2 books versus 3, and just like that whole process. I needed to do it because what I've learned from this is that so much more happens in stories than I ever thought. You know, like when you read a book, you have the general idea of what happens, but you don't remember every single little scene that happens and every single part of the story that builds in to be the overarching story. So I've been, you know, breaking down popular books that I've liked, and I've been watching movies and kind of getting inspired that way. And I realized that I never noticed just how many things happened in the first act. For example, like I was watching Treasure Planet last night, and so much action happens in the first act. Yes, the purpose of it is to set up the story, but there are so many things going on, and so many little things that happen before they even start the story that the book is about. And I think that this was also apparent in the way that I've written my draft so far, is the fact that my pacing in the first act is super slow, because my brain is always like, oh, the first act is for setting things up and that's it. And while that's true, it doesn't mean that things aren't happening. So now that I've taken everything that I wanted to have in a 2 to 3 book series and shoved it all into one book, everything makes sense. There's so many more ways for my character to grow, and there's so many more areas where these little plot lines can get moved forward, and where I can add scenes to not only make the pacing a lot better so that it's actually interesting and exciting to read right from the get-go, but also these extra scenes that kind of serve the different like subplots that are going on as well. And the ending that I have leaves the perfect amount of subplots open for the series potential, which is exactly what I was taught. Write a standalone with series potential. That's what you're querying, not a 3-book deal. So I think I had to go through this entire process of learning just to get back at the original outline for this story. I'm feeling really good about it. I have the first act pretty much entirely planned out, so I can start writing that now. I have written already like 1,700 words since Nano started, so I'm catching up. I think I wrote 1,500 yesterday. I have 2 pinch points that obviously raise the stakes a bit to kind of reinforce the limiting belief that my character has, but also shows how valuable she is to the mission and how much higher the stakes are and how much more serious things are. I have those points. I know what they look like. I know what the midpoint is going to look like, and I know what needs to happen in the climax. I'm just not sure what the steps of the dance are going to be yet. And then I have the end. I have the makings of the wonderful story that I know this story is going to be. That's exciting. I also still love my hair. I'd like to report it's so light. It's so much easier to brush. It doesn't get knotty. It doesn't get nearly as tangled as it did before. It's incredible. It's great. We had a rough week, but things are looking up. So I'm gonna end the vlog here because this one is gonna be a doozy. I already know. If you guys have questions, I know that usually I'll reply to the actual comment, but you can always leave them down below and I'll just answer it in the next vlog. And then I can clarify things that I'm talking about because I know that I talk a lot and things might not always be super clear. So please let me know if you have questions or comments in the comment section and I will address them next vlog. But I wanted to thank all of you so much for watching, for sticking around. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Don't forget to smile and I will see you in the next video. Bye.